So he gets into this mood. And he literally, if you read the first two chapters, he's just going to give a summary of what he is going to explain in Madhya Leela and what he will explain in Antya Leela also. Because he saw the Madhya Leela part was so long, he didn't know he will survive to say anything about the Antya Leela. So in his anxiety, he writes a whole chapter about Antya Leela, so that just in case he never happens to complete the book, at least devotees will have some glimpse of what happened in Antya Leela. So that's why chapter 1 and 2 is more of a summary of the synopsis of Madhya Leela and a synopsis of Antya Leela. And after that, he makes Jagannath Puri his headquarters after taking sannyas. He visits Shantipur, and Sachi Mata requests him to stay in Jagannath Puri, and he moves to Jagannath Puri, and also how he traveled to Jagannath Puri is also a little bit explained, and how he meets Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and eventually Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually becomes a devotee. So that transformation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is also explained. And after that, he wants to go to South India tour. So between chapters 7 and 10, he is visiting many places in South India, and then he returns to Jagannath Puri. And in chapters 15, we see that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engages in the pastimes of in Jagannath Puri along with his devotees. So various devotees from Bengal actually visit him during this time, and then he actually spends time with all of them in Jagannath Puri, enjoying the Rath Yatra pastimes. Then he actually sends them all back, and then he takes prasad at Acharya's place. We will see all of that. And then he actually tries to visit Vrindavan. First attempt does not, actually devotees does not, they actually delay him. Eventually when he tries, it becomes he's unable to make it to Vrindavan. So he comes back and then travels to Vrindavan. In the chapter 17 and 18, we will see that. And teachings of Lord Chaitanya, pretty much that Srila Prabhupada actually made his teachings to Sanatana Goswami as that book actually. So between verses chapters 19 and 25, we will see how in chapter 19 we will see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching to Rupa Goswami, and in chapters 20 to 24 we will see his teachings to Sanatan Goswami. And then we will also see at the in the last chapter of Madhya Leela, chapter 25, the transformation of Prakashananda Saraswati, how Srila preached in Varanasi. We already saw a little bit of the glimpse in the chapter 7 where we spoke about Panchata Mercy, but we will see it in detail now here in this chapter 25. So again, just repeating. So this is the Madhya Leela, where first two chapters are just a summary of Madhya and Antya Leelas, a synopsis. Chapter 3 to 10 is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now he has taken sannyas, he meets all his devotees, he meets his mother, he gets her permission. She requests him to live in Jagannath Puri. So he travels to Jagannath Puri. There he meets Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and makes him into a devotee. And then wants to go to South India, and eventually leaves to South India, goes on a long 2 year long tour, approximately like 4,000 miles. For 2 years he walks, and then he comes back to Jagannath Puri. In Jagannath Puri, now that he has done his little job of spreading the holy name, he comes back to spend time with his devotees. So now he focuses on the devotees in Bengal and Puri and all of them, and engages in the pastimes and enthuses them in bhakti. And after that, he has done the outreach, and he has also done in-reach. So now he wants to actually go to Vrindavan, which was his desire. So then he goes there, and after coming back from Vrindavan, he realizes he needs to instruct Rupa and Sanatan and all of them and establish the movement through them, because he is going back to Jagannath Puri to become more and more absorbed in his own personal mood. So he realizes if he becomes completely absorbed in his personal mood, what will happen to the momentum that he has created? In these few years, he has created a huge momentum of Sankirtan in the subcontinent of India. He has created a whole renaissance, first in Navadvip, then through his tour in South India, and also his pastimes in Jagannath Puri. Together has created a good momentum of Sankirtan. So he wants it to continue, because now once he comes back from Jagannath Puri, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will become so absorbed in his own mood of Srimati Radharani. So he wants that to continue. So to continue that movement, he instructs Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, gives them instructions to continue, and then he goes back to Jagannath Puri. So this is all the main subject matter of Madhya Leela. This happens between the age of 20 to 30 of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is some of the overview stuff. So if anyone has anything to share, ask, we can take now. Yeah.
I've not read the book, so that's why probably I have this question. But so then was with him throughout all this time, or does he come later?
Okay, so he joined Chaitanya. Initially, Nityananda was completely born in a different area, and he actually goes around India until Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started his pastimes in Navadvip pastimes. He was just going around, and after Sri Prabhu began his pastimes, he comes back. He comes to Navadvip and joins the Panchatattva. He joins the devotee and becomes known as the Panchatattva. Then he stays there for a few years until Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas.
So
So
in the books, he is in Antya Lila. He comes in Antya Lila.
he does not. Okay, I'm going to come there. So after that, after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes sannyas, he comes along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to settle him. Afterwards, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves for South India, he does not go along with him. And when Bengal devotees come, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructs Nityananda Prabhu, I really like or love that you are always with me. However, you can do something which I cannot do. So I cannot go and preach in Bengal now, but you can go and preach in Bengal. So he requests Nityananda Prabhu to leave Jagannath Puri and go back to Bengal and establish the Sankirtan movement in Bengal in a big way. And Nityananda Prabhu did it in a very big way through the Namahatta program and all of that. And every year he would come to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu during the Chaturmasya. So this is how it was going on. Though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu many times told him, you don't need to come, just focus on the preaching. He kept coming. And until Lila also, he was not there. He was mostly managing affairs in what do you call Bengal. Even after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes into seclusion, sometimes he would come and go, but predominantly he remained in Bengal. And after Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, also he remained in Bengal until his own disappearance.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
So in the chapters 1 and 2, as we said, it's not just going to start from the sannyas. After taking sannyas, what happened? Rather, Srila Kaviraj Goswami is going to speak about the later pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he speaks about how Lord Chaitanya's absorption in the ecstasy of the gopis. So he highlights Madhya and Antya Leela between the verses 1 and 8. So he begins by creating some kind of appetite, some highlights from the coming sections of Madhya and Antya Leela. And before giving details, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami summarizes the Madhya Leela between the verses 89 and 247, which is the age between 24 and 30. So during these 6 years, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached across India, visited the holy Dham of Vrindavan, and also expanded the Rath Yatra festivals at Jagannath Puri. So these are all things that are described between these verses, that between the verses 18 and 247. And then he also describes Antya Leela, between the ages 30 and 36 in the verses 248 to 287, where he speaks about the various pastimes at Puri, the episodes of Chota Haridas, Raghunath Das, and Vallabha Bhatta, and Ramachandra Puri, Gopinath Patanaik, Pradyumna Mishra, meeting with Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis, Haridas Thakur's passing away. So all of these pastimes are explained in these, between the age 30 and 36 is described. And then between the verses 2.1 to 95, until Leela, age between 36 and 48 is being explained. The final 12 years of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life, which was spent in seclusion. So living in Gambhira, how he manifested extraordinary symptoms of ecstatic love. That is all described. So I'm not going to go into the detail of the first two chapters because we have again and again seen what's the roadmap of Madhya Leela and Antya Leela like that. So I'm not going to go into the details. You can always read through the chapter. So just in case if it was helpful, because we are going to start the third chapter. So Srila Krishnadas Kavira explains this. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was living in Navadvip, and it was on the bank of Ganges, of course. And Shanti is also on the bank of the Ganges, on the other bank of the Ganges. Nava was on this side, and Shantipur was on the other side. And Katua was little far on the other direction from Shantipur to Navadvip. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left from Navadvip, went to Katua and took sannyas, and he was supposed to go in this way to Vrindavan. He was just supposed to go, and that's how he was trying to travel. But Sri Nityananda Prabhu tricks him and brings him back on the other, like again in the way of the Ganga to Shantipur actually. Some or other, he distracts him and brings him back to Shantipur. And once in Shantipur, he meets all the devotees. So why I'm showing this map is this is just to show like how he got, yeah, instead of going in the direction, he was brought back in the backward direction by Nityananda Prabhu. So the third chapter is Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's stay at the house of Advaitacharya. This is a very emotional reunion kind of a chapter where we'll see a lot of emotions. I wish like we could just go even right into this chapter more. It is a very nice chapter. I personally like it very much. There are a lot of details. So let me see whatever I get inspired. I will at least complete the 10 chapters today, but I'll just go on with whatever inspiration I get and speak maybe sometimes in short, sometimes in detail, depending on how I feel inspired. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas is explained here, and his ecstatic wandering is explained. That now that he has taken sannyas, he becomes like very much goes into the mood of ecstasy, just wants to go to, what do you call, wants to go to Vrindavan, and he is in that mood of, what do you call, eighth. So this is a verse spoken by Brahman in the in the canto 11 of, so where the Avanti Brahman, he just says that, okay, now I have, I'll cross over this ocean of Nishay just by being firmly fixed in the service to the lotus feet of Krishna. Because this is approved by all the previous acharyas, I will take this firm devotion as my path, and I'll completely cross over the material existence. So in this mood, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is in the mood of a devotee, he just thinks, now I have taken sannyas, I will just completely take shelter of Krishna, and I'll cross over this ocean. And that is why he actually wants to go to Vrindavan. Okay, now I want to take shelter of Mukunda, so let me go to Vrindavan. And so in that actually very strong mood of ecstasy, he started walking. He becomes completely unaware where he is going, whether it is day or night. Just started walking towards Vrindavan, and Nityananda Prabhu, Chandrasekharacharya, and Mukunda, they all follow him. Mukunda Datta, I think, yes. So all of them actually follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is like passing through that area where Ganges is not flowing through Radhadesh, where Nityananda Prabhu was born. And he just chanting Hari, and everyone who sees him actually starts also very happily chanting Hari. And they all become very inspired by looking at Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how he's golden like form and he's freshly clad in saffron, shaven head. So he's completely attracted by his look, and they also chant. And when they chant Hari Hari, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes very pleased with them. He just puts his head on their hands and then says, "Oh, go on chanting," like that. He becomes very pleased that they are all chanting along with him. So he feels like how they are so fortunate and successful. And in this way, he is always floating in ecstasy. Nityanand Prabhu, understanding what is going to happen, he goes and tells the boys that this sannyasi, he tells something. He somehow convinces the boy by telling a reasonable story that when, if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks you what is the way to go to Vrindavan, you just show the path on the banks of the Ganges instead of this road. So they also become very convinced of Nityananda Prabhu's story. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually approaches them and questions about the path to Vrindavan, the boys actually show the path on the bank of the Ganges. And the Lord very happily goes in ecstasy in that path. And Nityananda Prabhu, it becomes very clear. Okay, now if he takes this path, he's on the route to go to Shantipur. So he immediately tells Chandrasekharacharya, you go to Advaitacharya, inform Advaitacharya that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be brought by me to the bank of Ganges on Shantipur. So ask him to come with the boat and wait there. And after informing Advaitacharya, you don't stay there. Go to Navadvip, bring Sachimata and all the other devotees from Navadvip to Shantipur, so they all can come and have the darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. If we see how Nityananda Prabhu is using a transcendental trickery here to just to serve all the devotees. Because imagine if the Supreme Lord wants to go to Vrindavan, Nobody else can actually even think of distracting him. But here, just for the sake of pleasing the devotee and pleasing Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityanand Prabhu's decision was so crucial. Imagine if he did not do this, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would not have remained in Jagannath Puri. He would not have moved. He would have just gone to Vrindavan. There was no surety that he would have ever come back from Vrindavan. So just to, and also he knows the heart of all the devotees in Navadvip, how much they are all suffering, how much they are all experiencing separation from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that they will not be able to handle it. So knowing their state, he actually wants to pacify, wants to actually please all the devotees and wants them to have darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu so that they will continue to live. And he also knows if Sachimata comes and meets Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, at least there is an opportunity for Sachimata to continue to live and also to request him according to her desire where he would like to stay. So for these reasons, he actually tricks Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and tells Chandrasekharacharya, go inform Advaitacharya first. And after informing Advaitacharya, go and inform Sachimata and all the devotees in to come to Shur to meet Chaitanya. So after sending Chandrasekhara, then Nityananda goes along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya in ecstasy. So wherever he asked where Nityananda Prabhu, so he was asking, Nityananda Prabhu was walking. So Chaitanya Prabhu asked, oh Nityananda, where are you going? He says, no, I am going to Vrindavan along with you. So he knows he is not going to Vrindavan, but he keeps encouraging, yeah, we are all going to Vrindavan, walk, let's go fast. So then when Nityananda Prabhu asks, how far is Vrindavan? When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, how far is Vrindavan? He says, you see this, and then he shows him Ganga and says, we are already here in the banks of the Yamuna. It's very close by. Vrindavan is coming very soon. We have walked for so long. One is here. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is completely in ecstasy. He looks at Ganga, Mother Ganga, and thinks it is Mother Yamuna. And he starts singing that famous verse, Chidananda Bhanu, Sadananda Suno, Brahmagatri. So he's in the mood of looking at Vrinda Yamuna. So he immediately glorifies Mother Yamuna with that verse, Chidananda Bhanu. And then he offers obeisances and then he takes bath in Ganga thinking it is Yamuna. And he just had one pair of clothes because he left home and then took sannyas, and then Keshav Bharati gave him one set of clothes to put on. That's all he had. He was already wet. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was like thinking, okay, now he is not thinking, Nityananda Prabhu is thinking, okay, now he's wet. At that time, actually, Advaita Acharya comes with a second garment and he arrives in the boat and then he offers them the new external and inner wear and the garments. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so surprised. He says, when Advaita Acharya arrived and he's offering him obeisances, and he's so confused. Advaita Acharya, how did you come here? Like, how did you know that I was in Vrindavan? And this is a very famous verse by Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya says, actually, he says, actually, wherever you are, that is Vrindavan. He says, okay, but what about, how did you come still? He says, it is our great fortune that you have come to the bank of Ganges. Instead of him saying that you are not in Vrindavan, he said, it is our great fortune that you have come to the bank of the Ganges, Ganga. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, this is, how is this Ganga? This is Yamuna. Nityananda just told me this is Yamuna. He says, yeah, Nityananda did not lie, because when Ganga and Yamuna actually connect, Yamuna actually flows towards the western side and Ganga flows on the eastern side. So in that sense, this western bank is still considered as Yamuna only. So Nityananda did not cheat you. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually becomes very angry that Nityananda has cheated me and he has brought me to Ganga instead of Yamuna, and I was supposed to go to Vrindavan. So he really becomes very disturbed that, oh, I'm not in Vrindavan and you guys have tricked me to come to Ganga. However, they explain him. Advaita Acharya explains that how this is also Ganga, Yamuna, and more than that, all the devotees from Shanta and Navadvip, they will all be here at my place. Please come and just stay for a few days. Just give them your darshan so that they can continue to live. Just come and stay for a few days and we will actually let you go to Vrindavan. Don't worry. It's not very far and we will just continue your journey to Vrindavan from here. So after that, he becomes convinced, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 3 days, he did not eat anything. He was fasting after taking sannyas for 3 days. He was in complete ecstasy. So Advaita Acharya tells him, for 3 days, you haven't eaten anything. in your ecstasy. So just come to my home where I have just prepared little prasad. So you can just eat some prasad and then you can meet the devotees and then you can leave. So in this way, say convincing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaitacharya brings him home and then he washes his feet and then becomes very happy that Sri Chaitanya after taking sannyas has come to his home. And Advaitacharya's wife, Ani, she cooked a big feast and then it was all offered, and then that's a whole very famous section. Many lectures and devotees keep giving in this section, that how there was a grand feast at the Advaitacharya house, and what are the loving dealings between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu and Advaitacharya is very sweet to read in those sections. So it said there was huge prasad was bhoga was cooked and it was divided in three equal parts. One was offered to Krishna and the other two was arranged in huge banana leaves and very eco-friendly banana cups that they make, that Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami, right? That all the sabjis and all the preparations, they were kept in innumerable number of banana cups that they make with the banana leaves and the banana skin and all of that banana tree skin and everything. In that way, huge was arranged, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes in, and then actually Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami takes some 20 plus verses to explain what and all was cooked in that feast. All kinds of things. He just takes all the name of the vegetables, all the name of the preparations, sweet, sour things, and what kind of dal. It's like huge number of verses, like verse after verse, not a recommended section for a fasting day. A huge number of items are like preparations are recommended. Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami does that every now and then. He elaborately describes the various and prasad that was prepared because it was done with so much love by those devotees. So he gives so much attention to explain that. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu invites, okay, let's all go and take prasad. Bhattacharya says, not everybody, it's just you and Nityanand Prabhu. So he goes and then thinks this is all the prasad for everybody. So he requests Advaitacharya, please give me a small plate so that I can take what I need and I can eat. This is too much. A sannyasi is not supposed to eat this much. Advaitacharya says, actually, this is all for both of you. This is just very little that I could cook. So just accept this. This is a very small. He says, no, I have just taken sannyas. And how will I control my senses if I eat so much? And Sri Chaitanya, Advaitacharya says, oh, please give up all your like act. So I know who you are, why you have taken sannyas. I know all of these things. Just give up all these things. It's just between us here inside this room. Forget all these formalities. Sit and eat here. He says, no, I cannot eat so much food. And I won't be able to complete this. He says, okay, you start eating. If you cannot eat it all, just leave the balance in that leave the balance food, whatever you cannot eat. He says, no, it is not sannyasi's duty. I will only take whatever I can eat because it's not the duty of a sannyasi to leave any remnants. So I won't be able to eat this much. Advaita Acharya says, as Jagannath, in Jagannath Puri, in the form of Jagannath, you are eating 56 times, and each time they offer you huge pots of rice and dal and everything. It takes so many people to actually arrange that bhoga. Forget about eating it. Just arranging takes so many people back and forth for some 20-30 minutes. It takes for people to just arrange the bhoga, and you eat all of that, and here you are acting that you cannot eat. No, whatever is there, just sit and eat. I don't want. So this is not even a few morsels for you. So in this way they go back and forth, and Advaita Acharya convince him, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually sits to eat prasad. So far Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has been saying that food is so much, the prasad is so much that he won't be able to complete. But Nityananda Prabhu says, I came after 3 days fasting thinking that I'll be able to fill my belly with some food, but here I see there is nothing here. I can't even actually break my fast with this food. And we can see how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has a different mood, and Nityananda Prabhu is cracking a joke. I hardly see anything here. There is nothing to even fill my belly. I thought of after 3 days fasting, I'll have a big feast. And Advaita Acharya says, you are supposed to be a traveling mendicant eating fruits and roots. And I have tried my best to make some little food, and you have to be grateful. Why are you so greedy? I'm offering you so much food, whatever I may be. You have invited me. So now you have to supply as much as I want to eat. You cannot tell I'm a son and you will only give little. If I ask you for more, you should be able to give. That is your dharma. He says, what kind of dharma? You are a son. I thought you are a Paramahamsa, but he says you are a reject Paramahamsa. You have accepted this renounced order of life just to fill your belly and going around and eating everyone's house. And he says, But why did you invite? You invited me. That's why I came here. He said, it's my mistake. I'll never invite a sannyasi again to eat. In that way, they actually keep actually teasing each other and they're like happily speaking. And in that way, Advaita makes them all sit, makes both in Chaitanya sit down and eat. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gradually accepts the prasad and the desire of Advaita is fulfilled. And he says, after eating everything, Nityananda Prabhu says, my belly is not filled up. So please take away your plate. I have not, my belly is not full. And he takes a little bit of the rice and then he throws it on the floor and it hits Advaitacharya. And Advaitacharya becomes completely ecstatic by the Mahaprasad of Nityananda Prabhu touching him and he begins to dance and roll. Then Advaitacharya actually tells him, okay, I invited you. And by inviting you, I don't even know what kind of sannyasi you are. You're a Avadut. I have already lost my, what do you call, status as a Brahmana just by inviting you. And now you have thrown away the prasad that was offered to Krishna by, you have committed an offense by actually throwing the remnants. Nityanand Prabhu says, even if you invite at, what do you call, so you have committed an offense, he says. Nityanand Prabhu says, no, these are all food remnants left by Krishna. And you, if you think that whatever I have thrown at you is my remnant, that is an offense. Because you have committed an offense, you have to invite 100 sannyasis and feed them fully. He says, I could not even fill the belly of one sannyasi like you. I'm not going to invite 100 sannyasis. So in this way, they keep joking, and finally they finish the prasad. And Advaitacharya massages the legs of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Lord Chaitanya says, enough. You wanted me to eat, I have eaten. Now you want me to massage my legs. It's all done. You go and take prasad. So finally, Advaitacharya relents, and then they take prasad. And then after prasad, towards the evening, uh, Advaitacharya begins a very ecstatic kirtan, and all the devotees join, and they're all like really happy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, after all the prasad and everything, they continuously dance for 3 hours. They are constantly dancing and showing ecstatic symptoms and falling and getting up. And in this way, they were completely absorbed, and they were all dancing for like fully for 3 plus hours. And they when it was night time, Advaitacharya realized, okay, it is late and the Lord has been walking for 3 days and he has been fasting, and finally he had prasad and he's been dancing for so long. So he actually makes them rest. And by then, Chandrasekharacharya went to Navadvip, and next day morning, here Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wakes up and does his regular duties and is chanting. And there, Chandrasekharacharya brings all the doer from Navadvip to Shantipur. So everybody accompanies Sachi Mata, and they all reach Advaitacharya. And as soon as Mother Sachi actually appears on the scene, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu falls at her feet, offers Dandavat. You can imagine Sachi Mata's heart. She begins to cry, and she takes, like a small child, treating Nimai like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu like a small child. She takes him on her lap and becomes so overwhelmed. And finally, like, she sees Chaitanya Mahaprabhu without any hair. So she becomes so emotional. Then, out of love, she actually begins to touch his body and kiss his face, and then continues to pat him and keep him on his lap. So in this way, she was trying to look at the face of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but her eyes were filled with so much tears she could not even see. So in this way, she actually cries, "My dear Nimai, so you don't be cruel like your brother Vishwarupa, because after taking sannyas, Vishwarupa never came to see me. If you do the same thing, I will not be able to live." So she feels like, my husband is no more. My elder son took sannyas and never to be seen again. The only other family member I had is you, and now you have also taken sannyas. So if you also follow in the footsteps of your brother and never come back to see me, I will not be able to actually live. So he said, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, "My dear mother, please forgive me. I'm mad. Some or other, knowingly, unknowingly, I have taken sannyas. This body has actually belongs to you, but somehow by my desire, knowingly, unknowingly, I have accepted this renounced order. But I've promised that I shall never be indifferent to you. So wherever you ask me to stay, I will stay there. Wherever you order, whatever you order, I will execute that." Now that he has done what he wants, of course, he's telling out of genuine emotion also. He did what he wanted for a higher purpose, but he still, in his heart, he does not want Mother Sachi to suffer. So he is ready to take. Whatever Sachimata says, he says, I will stay there and I'll follow your order. So in this way, he again offers obeisances, and then Mother Sachi takes him on her lap, and then cries and then caresses him. So then Advaitacharya takes Mother Sachi within the house, and all the devotees are there. So everybody is like finally in the presence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They're all so happy seeing his beauty. At the same time, they are also so heartbroken that he has taken sannyas and he won't be able to stay here for a longer period of time, like how they all had his association before in Navadvip. So many other people all over Navadvip, they all came to see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this way, he continues to stay for 10 days. And they all like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Advaita Acharya continues to cook. But Sachimata actually requests, okay, I don't know if I'll ever be able to see Nimai again. So at least for these days that he is remaining at your place, let me cook. So in that way, she led the cooking for all the devotees. Everybody was there. Advaita Acharya arranged for their prasad, accommodation. So for 10 days, they were just doing kirtan. Whole day, they were just absorbed in kirtan, taking prasad, taking rest, prasad, kirtan. So this is what was going on for 10 days. And whenever Sachimata saw that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was dancing in ecstasy and then he would just fall. And she actually prayed to Lord Vishnu, whatever service I have done to you from my childhood, please give me this benediction that whenever Nimai falls to the surface of earth, may he not feel any pain. So she begs for that blessing from Lord Vishnu. She becomes very overwhelmed in her maternal love for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then she continues to cook, and she's very happy that she is able to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and be in his presence, because once he left home, she thought never again. But I was just thinking, everybody is here, but Vishnupriya Devi is not here. As the wife, he has taken sannyas, so she could not come. So she experienced intense separation, staying still in Navadvip, even though all the devotees have come here to take shelter of darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sachimata was very happy that she could at least see him. So in that way, she continued to cook. Even when other devotees, Shiva's Acharya, then they all wanted to cook, she said, I don't know how many times I will see Nimai again. Please give me this one boon that let me cook for him as long as there. In this way, they all engaged in pastimes for next 10 or so days. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eventually asked that, he said, I don't mind staying here. I don't think as a sannyasi it is good for me to continue to stay here. Then I won't, then people will speak bad about it, that this person, he has taken sannyas and still he is living with his family. So then Advaita goes and explain this to Sachimata, and Sachimata actually requests Sri Chaitanya, can you please actually make your headquarters as Puri and not Vrindavan? She says, if you live in Jagannath Puri, I may not be personally able to go, but many devotees can go and see you. I will continue to receive news about you very regularly, because the Bengali devotees were not at that point of time living in Vrindavan much. So there was not so much of travel between Bengal and Vrindavan. Rather, many devotees from Mayapur would regularly go to Jagannath Puri. So there was a lot of constant, regular travel between Jagannath Puri and Navadvip. So that's why she wanted, if you live in Jagannath Puri, I'll continue to hear about you. And you also can sometimes come to the bank of the Ganges, and you can come for bathing in Ganga. And that time I can also come and see you. So in this way, she requests Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to actually stay in Jagannath Puri. When she requests, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts, and he wants to leave to Jagannath Puri. And at that time, Haridas Thakur actually begins to cry, and he says, it's fine that you are going to Jagannath Puri, but what will be my case? Because he was born in a Muslim family and he would not go to such holy places as Jagannath Puri or stay in the temple nearby and close to a holy place like that. He says, how will I actually come to Jagannath Puri? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, I will go and pray to Lord Jagannath so that you can actually come and stay with me in Jagannath Puri. So in this way, he convinces all the devotees and Sachimata, and then he wants to go to Jagannath Puri, leave. But Advaita Acharya says, please stay for a few more days. So he continues to stay. And then eventually he decides, if I just continue to stay here, these people will never let me go. And so he says, okay, I really have to go. And Advaita Acharya makes some arrangements. He decides that Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Pandit, and Damodar Pandit, and also Mukunda Datta, all of them will go with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Jagannath Puri to be with him. So Nityanand Prabhu, Jagadananda Pandit, Damodar Pandit, and Mukunda Datta. So when everything was arranged, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the blessings of Sachi Mata and he wanted to leave. And there was a when he actually started, it was everyone in the house of Advaita Acharya, they were crying bitterly because they realized this is their last, what do you call, they were like trying to hold on to that last experience of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu living in Navadvip. This was the last episode of their close association with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So everybody started crying, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he had to keep a straight face, and Advaita Acharya actually followed him for some time. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu turned and told Advaita Acharya, if you cry and if you become emotional, who will take care of everybody? Everyone is going to become agitated, especially my mom. So if you become agitated, no one will be able to continue to live. So please become composed and go back and take care of all the devotees. In this way, he just embraced Advaita Acharya and he left in the bank of the Ganges, along the bank of the Ganges, towards Jagannath Puri. In Chaitanya Bhagavat, Vrindavan Das Thakur actually explains in detail how he took sannyas and also how he traveled to Jagannath Puri. So it's very briefly covered in this chapter by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. So after that, he actually speaks about the next particular topic is after his departure and devotee separation. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami speaks about Madhavendra Puri's devotional service, and it's already almost 3 o'clock. We'll see how it goes. So here, Sri Madhavendra Puri's devotional service is very elaborately described here. And this is on their travel to Jagannath Puri. On the way to Jagannath Puri, they come to Remuna, and they also will later visit a place called as Katak. So these two places are very elaborately described. Not all the travels of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is explained. Rather, it is covered in Chaitanya Bhagavat a little bit in more detail. Here it was just covered. These two places are covered in detail, which was not covered by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually visits the Gopinath temple at Kirchor Gopinath temple at Remuna. En route to Puri, actually, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu halts at this particular village, Remuna. And this was a very famous place because it was already very well known due to Madhavendra Puri. If you remember, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is initiated by Ishwari, who is a disciple of Madhavendra Puri. So that is why he knows the story of Madhavendra Puri very well. So when they come, he becomes very happy that they are finally in this place and in this temple where his grand spiritual master Madhavendra Puri had such a intimate pastime with Gopinath. So he comes there and then he starts explaining the story of Puri, that how Madhavendra, he's a great devotee. He was chanting once at a place called Govinda Kund, and when a beautiful boy appeared and offered him some milk, and the boy said, okay, Baba, I don't see you are begging around, and only if someone comes and gives, you are eating. So no one goes hungry in my village. So please take this milk. My mother sent me, and I'll come back to take the pot. So he runs away, and he becomes so attracted to that boy who came, and he feels in his heart, how come I am so attracted to this boy? He looks so attractive. And he drinks the milk and he feels so satisfied. And then later he realizes this was actually, that boy who came is actually the Supreme Lord Krishna himself, because in that night, in his dream, the boy appears and then introduces himself as Gopal, the Krishna, instructing Madhavendra Puri that nearby he is hidden in the form of his Gopal underneath a big, what do you call, like a mound of earth and bushes. He says, please unearth me from a nearby bush and erect a temple for my residence and start worshipping me. So then Madhavendra Puri actually comes back from the dream, wakes up, and then he becomes so happy, and also he becomes very unhappy. He becomes happy that he has been chosen by Krishna for this service. He also becomes unhappy that he could not recognize Krishna when he was personally present before him in that form of that small boy. And he saves that pot that the boy gives, and then he goes and he calls for the villagers, and then with the help of the villagers he finds the deity of Gopal, and then he actually erects the temple on top of the Govardhan hill and establishes him and starts worshipping him. So in that chapter it's elaborately explained how so many devotees came to start to worship Gopal. So many villages came together, and every day they were doing Annakuta festival and all that. So in this way, for 2 years, Madhavendra Puri established the temple, established the services, and a lot like, and also brought two brahmanas and then made them the head pujaris, and then established the service for Gopal in a very nice way. After around 2 years, one day, then Madhavendra Puri actually gets a dream in which Gopal comes again and requests him to get some fresh sandalwood, because his body, it's summer season and he feels very hot because he has been lying in that bush and under the earth for such a long time. So he feels, I'm feeling a lot of heat. Can you get some sandalwood from the Malaya hills and apply on my body? So actually, it's a very difficult task. They are in Vrindavan and the sandalwood is in Malaya hills, and it's not that we had, what do you call, Amazon or anything like that. You can just you can place an order and then you get a door delivery or anything. He had to personally walk all the way from Vrindavan to first get the sandalwood, and also in those days there may be so many people who are on the way that he has to manage from being robbed, and because sandalwood is considered a very precious commodity. So he had to bring, and also if you have to bring so much wood, how do you carry for so long? He did not worry about anything, because Gopal wanted, he immediately took up that difficult task and set off on foot, literally. So on this very difficult journey, he comes. Madhavendra Puri is coming to Remuna. So this particular story is being told by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Remuna, and in that story, Madhavendra Puri is coming to Remuna, and where he actually witnesses the deity of Gopinath being offered various nice preparations, and nice deity worship is going on. Looking at that, he thinks, oh, they are worshipping their deity so nicely, and if I can understand what are the different offerings they are making, I can also make it for my Gopal in Vrindavan. So that with a very pure desire to serve, he thinks like that. And then he also comes to know that they offer a very special sweet rice to Gopinath ji called as Amrita Keli. So thinking like that, hearing that, he thinks, oh, if only I can taste that Amrita Keli, I'll also be able to make it for Gopal. But at that time, the offering was not complete. So he considers himself an offender. He thinks, oh, the offering is just going inside. I'm already thinking of tasting it. So in that way, he actually feels very unqualified and then leaves the temple without asking anything. However, Gopinath steals a pot of kheer, hides it behind him. And then later in the dream of the pujari, he comes and says, I have hidden a pot of sweet rice for Madhavendra Puri. So you go collect it from the altar and go to this marketplace and call out the name of Madhavendra Puri and give this give this kheer to him. And the pujari does the same thing. And then the name and fame of the glories of Madhavendra Puri becomes so widespread that Gopinath personally stole Kheer for him. So that's why he gets the name of Kheer Chor Gopinath, the one who actually stole the sweet rice. So in this way, Madhavendra Puri becomes very famous. So he did not want to attract any attention. So he quickly leaves Remuna for Jagannath Puri. So there he actually, however, this particular fame he received was become widespread and comes to Jagannath Puri also before he arrives. So without even social media, things spread very quickly, even in those days. How at least they were speaking about good things. So then when he came, they all realized, oh, this is that great Madhavendra Puri. So they all helped him a lot in procuring the sandalwood very easily. And after that, he collects the sandalwood and he starts his travel journey back. He also gets some camphor and everything, and also the king and the devotees arrange for him to few people to carry all the stuff along with him. In this way, he starts his journey back to Vrindavan. On the way, he actually again comes to Remuna. So when he was at Remuna, Gopal comes in his dream and says, oh, for my sake, you are taking too much trouble. So you don't need to bring this all the way from to Vrindavan. Actually, make this sandalwood paste in Remuna and apply it to Gopinath. If you apply it to Gopinath's body, my body will be naturally cooled. We are not different. So in this way, Madhavendra Puri again gets a dream, and then he understands the desire of Gopal and then offers this this Chandan to Kirchor Gopinath very happily. The one who stole Kir for him, he offered him Chandan. In this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu glorifies the service of Madhavendra Puri, that how he did not think about his personal, what do you call, nijasukha, vignana. He did not think about his own troubles that he has to take, or the obstacles that were there in his path to fulfilling the desire of Gopal. All he wanted was to serve Gopal. For that sake, he was willing to take up anything. So in that way, he glorifies the mood of Madhavendra Puri. And he also speaks about the Madhavendra Puri's glories, especially in terms of the special verse that he speaks in the mood of Radharani. There's nobody else other than Madhavendra Puri can actually know this meaning of this verse. He says that how he chants in the mood of Madhavendra, in the mood of Srimati Radharani. This verse, I'm just not. ऐदीन दयार्द्रनाथ हे मथुरानाथ कदावलोकस्य हृदयं त्वदा आलोक कातरम दयित ब्राह्म्यति किम करोम्यहम. He says, "Oh my Lord," this is in the mood of Srimati Radharani is speaking this. "Oh my Lord, oh merciful man, oh master of Mathura, when shall I again see you? Because of my not seeing you, my heart has become agitated. So, oh, most beloved one, what shall I do now?" So basically, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying how Madhavendra Puri had this mood of separation from Krishna, which Srimati Radharani had, which is a very special mood. So this is mood of separation of Srimati Radharani from Krishna, that loving devotional service in the mood of that separation actually begins from Madhavendra Puri. He is considered as that seed, and from him it comes to Ishvara Puri, and from him it comes to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this way, he actually glorifies the mood of Madhuri, and he says he was very advanced and he was completely always in ecstasy. Speaking about him, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also goes to ecstasy, and then he concludes the narration, and then they start from Remuna. They are just staying overnight, and then from there they actually walk and come to a place called as. So there actually Nityananda now explains the glories of this particular place called as Katak. Here Nityanand Prabhu narrates the story of Sakshi Gopal. Once there were two Brahmanas, that those two Brahmanas, one was younger and the other was old. They were traveling together in a party of pilgrims to Vrindavan and various other pilgrimage places from Katak. They were going from Katak to Vrindavan, so they were part of a big group. And especially in this old Brahman was, because he was old, and through the pilgrimage, this young Brahman actually takes care of him very nicely. So, feeling deep gratitude for the assistance that he received from this young Brahmana, this older Brahmana actually promises him that once we go back to Katak, I'll offer my daughter in marriage to you. You are such a nice person. You have been so kind to me and you helped me so much in this particular journey, pilgrimage. I'm very pleased. I'll offer my daughter to you. Although the younger Brahmana actually, he politely refuses. He says, I don't think it is a very good idea, because you are, though you're a Brahmana, you are much richer and you come from a higher category of Brahmanas. And I don't think it is a good idea for you to promise, because it may not be possible for you to fulfill. And I don't think it is a matching, it's a compatible match either. You are very aristocratic. So I don't think it is a suitable match. But he actually insists. He says, no, it is better actually. The old Brahman actually insists, no, do not doubt me. I will give you my in charity. I have already decided this. Rather, actually, I'll promise before this deity that we are there. They were before a Gopal deity. He says, I promise on this deity that I will offer you this particular, my daughter to you. So in this way, he actually promises, and the younger Brahmana says, okay, if you are offering your daughter in marriage, I accept. And before you promised before this Gopal deity, so he is the witness. So in this way, they both exchange and they come back after their pilgrimage. As expected by the younger Brahman, the son of the older Brahman does not accept to give his sister to this younger Brahmana, nor his wife. So they all say, if you do this, we will all commit suicide, and they actually blackmail him. And when the time comes, the younger Brahmana goes and approaches the older Brahmana and says, you told you will marry your daughter to me. So what happened to that? And he says, oh, he says, no, but he really wants, because he promised, he wants to give his daughter, but his family does not accept. So they blackmail him to tell lies. So he says, I don't remember. And when the younger Brahmana actually takes him to the court, and then he says, this guy actually promised, but now he's not living by his promise. And gradually, then in the quote it, the son actually blames, the son of the older Brahmana blames that this younger Brahmana actually is trying to cheat my father. He took away all his money and possessions during the pilgrimage, and now he is also planning to take away my sister in the name of a false promise. I don't think my father ever promised. And the older Brahmana also says, I don't remember promising. He does not say, I did not promise. He says, I don't remember the promise that I made. So, in this way, the younger Brahmana becomes very touched and very disappointed. And he says, but you promised before the deity, and deity is the Sakshi. But the son of the Brahmana says, okay, if you really feel that the deity is the witness, go and bring the deity. If this deity says, we will actually accept. So the younger Brahmana all the way goes to Vrindavan, prays to the deity that you are the promise. So you are the witness. So please come and give witness on my behalf. And the deity says, how can a deity actually come all the way to your Katak? He says, if the deity can speak, the deity can also walk. So please come to Katak and prove my words and bear witness. You are supposed to be. In this way, he brings the deity back, and outside Katak, when he comes, he turns back, and the deity had told him, if you turn back and look at me, I'll stop at that place. So when he looks back, because he stops hearing the ankle bell of the deity, he looks back, and then the deity stays outside Katak and tells him, now I'm here. I think this is a good place for me. You go and inform everybody to come here. So in this way, the deity actually bears witness for the younger Brahmana, and that's why the deity becomes called as Sakshi Gopal, the one who bore witness. So in this way, the Sakshi Gopal deity moved to Katak and then in this way, actually they were in Vidyanagar. I'm sorry, the Brahmanas, they were from Vidyanagar, but the king of Orissa, he actually conquers Vidyanagara and then he moves the deity to Katak. So once it is also that once the queen looked at the deity of Purushottam Dev, he looks at the deity and he feels, wish I could offer a nose ring to the deity, a pearl. And she thinks, okay, but if there may be not be a hole, so I won't be able to offer it. And the deity comes in the dream of the queen and then says, actually, I have a hole here for you to offer the pearl. So then he asks, you can offer me the pearl. And then she comes and realizes there is a hole in the nose of the deity, and then they offer the pearl. So in this way, this whole pastime of Sakshi Gopal was explained by Nityananda Prabhu. And then they all actually happily discuss the pastime, take prasad, and they all actually leave to Jagannath Puri from there. And on the way, actually, while going towards Jagannath Puri, there is another pastime that happens of the breaking of the sannyas rod of while going on their way back towards Jagannath Puri, there is a river called Bargi Nadi. So on the bank of this particular Bargi, which is now called as Dandabanga Nadi, actually breaks the sannyas staff of Chaitanya into three pieces. There are multiple understandings. That one is that he was having one single rod eka, but actually that is not Vaishnava thing. Nityananda Prabhu did not want him to have ekadanda, so he wanted him to have three danda. That's why he breaks. And also another reason that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord himself. He is beyond all worldly, what do you call, worldly designations or the obligations of a sannyasi, that he has to carry sannyas danda. So he did not like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu carrying that. He says, I carry my Supreme Lord in my heart. And you, Danda, you are being carried by my Supreme Lord. Who do you think you are? So he breaks him. So I don't want you to be a burden to my Supreme Lord, carrying you around all the time. So he breaks it. Though Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was pleased by the mood of Nityananda Prabhu, he externally becomes angry and he says, I just took sannyas. You first of all redirected me. I wanted to go to Vrindavan. You redirected me to go to Mother Ganga and then Shantipur. Now I'm not even able to go to Vrindavan. I'm going to Jagannath Puri. And here again, you break my sannyas danda also. So what do you think? Like, you are constantly pulling all these pranks. So he becomes very angry. He says, no, don't follow me. I'm going in my way to Jagannath Puri. I don't want any of you to come with me. So he just starts running. He just goes in the front. And Nityanand Prabhu and other devotees, they try to keep up with him. And in that way, they keep following Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I think we can take a few minutes break. It's been an hour. I'll also drink some water. You can also catch a little break. And in a few minutes, we will see. It's 3:13. We will see 3:18. In 5 minutes, we will see. Krishna, Hare Hare Ram. Thank you. So far, we saw how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, went to Shantipur, and from there started towards Jagannath Puri. And in his travels, He came to Ramuna, and then he went to Cuttack. And from there, now he eventually, his staff gets broken by Nityanand Prabhu. So he gets angry, and then he leaves before all the devotees alone. And he reaches Jagannath Puri before the devotees. And then he goes straight to Jagannath temple to take darshan. And then let's see what happens when he goes to take darshan of Lord Jagannath and everything. So this is chapter 6 of Madhya Leela. This title is Liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, his transformation from being a impersonalist to a devotee. This whole chapter is pretty much about him after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's darshan and everything. So displeased by Nityananda Prabhu's breaking his sannyas staff, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually decides to proceed to Jagannath Puri alone. So in that way, he comes to Jagannath Puri before everybody, and he comes to Jagannath temple. Upon entering the temple, he actually takes darshan of Lord Jagannath, and he actually goes inside the altar. He goes into the altar, and he takes Jagannath's darshan from a close, and he becomes completely overwhelmed with loving emotion. And he actually spontaneously runs to embrace the deity, and he faints in the process. And when he runs towards the deity, and the security people, they are all like trying to stop him, and they're trying to beat him, but he actually falls unconscious. And by Krishna's arrangement, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he is there witnessing the whole incident, and he senses that there is something very extra special about this sannyasi, and he's also in a sannyas vesh. So he stops the security guards, and then he understands, he checks and understands he's not dead, he's unconscious, but also understands that he must be a great person because by the symptoms. So he tells them, okay, don't harm him, just bring him to my home. So he just takes him to his home, which is very close to the Jagannath temple. And the other devotees who actually were a little bit behind Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like Nityananda Prabhu, Jagadananda Pandit, Damodar, and Mukunda, they all are like suddenly they completely lost track of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. They are unable to trace him. They're trying to keep up, but they are not able to trace him. And they come, they ask around, they go to and somebody tells them, oh, we saw him going to the temple. And then they come inside the temple, they inquire, and they realize that he came here, in trance, he in ecstasy, he just became unconscious and fell. And then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took him to his place. So realizing this, they all go to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's place in search of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there they see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lying completely unconscious. So they become very disturbed. At the same time, it's not very new for them. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's very common for him after he took sannyas, especially. So they loudly chant the holy name. And then at that point, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hearing the chanting of the holy name, he actually regains his sense of consciousness. His awareness is consciousness. He comes back to consciousness. And by through all of these things, he has become like Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya has become very little bit puzzled, and also like in a curious way, he has become attached, like he has become curious about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he continues to speak to Chaitanya, and then he hosts them. And in that way, he is, because though he is elder, here is a sannyasi, and he is a sannyasi, he continues to respect him and understands that Chaitanya is like a Vaishnava sannyasi, like that. Still, he is like a little bit puzzled. Who is Chaitanya? Who is this person? So he asks Gopinath Acharya, because he realizes that Gopinath Acharya recognizes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Gopinath Acharya is the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he asks him, who is this person? Please explain to me. What is his previous life about before taking sannyas? Then he says, oh, this is the son of Jagannath Mishra, who was a resident of Navadvip. And he's the son of actually Nilambara Chakravarti. So hearing Nilambara Chakravarti, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, oh, Nilambara Chakravarti, I know him very well. He and my grandfather, they were actually friends. So I know their family well. I know Jagannath Mishra, actually, that Jagannath Mishra that you're speaking about. So he immediately understands, oh, he comes from Navadvip, and he is also from Navadvip. So he becomes even more attached to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu now. He becomes very pleased. So he says to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, you are naturally very respectable. You are sannyasi. And so I would like to serve you. So in this way, he's very taking care of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wants Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to live at his place. And in this way, he continues to take care of him. And once in the course of the conversation, he says that he's a young sannyasi, we need to take care of him like that. And Gopinath Acharya actually takes objection. He says he is not just any sannyasi, because especially Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says he has taken initiation from the Bharati community, which is a second class sannyas, which is considered as a second class sannyasi. Then Gopinath Acharya says, oh no, he's the Supreme Lord. He does not rely on any external formalities, and there is no need for him to accept actually sannyas from a superior sampradaya, anything like that. But Bhattacharya says, oh, he is such a young, beautiful looking sannyasi. How will he keep his principles of sannyas? So I want him to actually become fixed in renunciation. If you guys don't mind, I can actually teach him the principles of sannyas and renunciation. And I could actually bring him to the platform of first class by actually offering him sannyas cloth and performing the reformatory process again, the whole sannyas process. Gopinath Acharya and the other devotees, they become very disturbed. They actually, Gopinath Acharya says, you don't understand, to his brother-in-law, that he's the Supreme Lord. And Gopinath Acharya says, he's literally the Supreme Lord. You're so ignorant, you're not able to understand. And the disciples of Sarvabhauma, they say, okay, where is the evidence to call him as the Supreme Lord? And Bhattacharya says, actually, in Kali Yuga, there is no appearance of the Supreme Lord. He is called as Tri Yuga. So how are you saying that he is the avatar of Vishnu? He is the Supreme Lord himself. So Gopinath Acharya quotes so many quotations from Mahabharata and other scriptures, Bhagavatam, everything, and says it does not mean, if it means like Tri Yuga means, it is not that he does not come in Kali Yuga. Every yuga has a yuga avatar. So the Lord comes in every yuga. So the Leela avatars don't come in Kali Yuga, as it is said, and like in the previous yugas, like Krishna and Rama, like that. However, the Lord appears in a covered form, and then he quotes various scriptures like Mahabharata and Bhagavatam, and then tries to explain. And then he says, but still, you are a dry, speculative person. You won't be able to understand. Gopinath Sarva says, we are relatives. We are just casually discussing here. Don't become angry. And then they go away. They go and discuss this with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And later, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes and meets Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He is very respectful towards Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is also very respectful towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he is a sannyasi. And then he says, can I actually, out of my care for you, I want to teach you the principles of sannyas. So then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepts, and then he goes to listen from him. And after that, he, in the course of explaining, he does not say anything. He just keeps listening for 7 days without saying a word. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, okay, I don't understand if you are understanding anything. So he asks him, what is your understanding of Vedanta Sutra? Are you able to understand everything? And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu debates with him, in the sense, tries to explain to him and refutes the Mayavad philosophy, gives a proper explanation of Vedanta. Hearing all of that explanation from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually becomes very, very convinced that this is the Supreme Lord. He says, and then actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu shows him his four-handed Vishnu form, and then he assumes the form of the original form of his Krishna, with a blackish complexion, with a flute in his lips. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya becomes completely ecstatic, because he has seen the form of Krishna manifested in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And also, it's not given in Chaitanya Charitamrita, but it is given in Chaitanya Bhagavat, I think, Chaitanya Bhagavat, that how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed him Shadbhuj form of the Lord also. So it's very famous. We see that it is it's in his house also, it was painted. In the temple also, it is painted. Jagannath Puri temple also. So it is well known that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed his Shadbhuja darshan to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, along with this Vishnu form and the Krishna form, everything. So by the mercy of the Lord, then all these truths are revealed to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He could understand the importance of chanting the holy name, and the process of Vaishnava Sampradaya, the philosophy and everything. So in this way, he immediately composes 100 verses glorifying Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu becomes very happy with Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Olga?
Which form did the Lord show in addition to the form of the Lord as Krishna?
It is called a Shadbhuja Gauranga form. That means six-armed form of Lord Chaitanya. I'm not sure if you have seen that form, where in two hands he holds a bow and arrow in green color hands, and in like Krishna like hands he holds flute in a bluish hands, and as a sannyasi he holds danda and kamandalu in a golden kind of a form. So it is a six-handed form of Lord Chaitanya. If you search for Shadbhuja, six-armed form of Lord Chaitanya, you will see that image. I could have put that in the image, I forgot. So the Shadbhuj Gauranga form of Lord Chaitanya, he shows that to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, and Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is completely transformed. He becomes a full-fledged devotee, rather becomes more of a like a more fanatical Lord Chaitanya's devotee actually. And so his transformation was remarkable because he spontaneously composes 100 verses in glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and also he becomes a complete devotee. And Gopinath Acharya, who's the what do you call, who's the brother-in-law of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, now teases Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Oh, now you have become a Vaishnava. You were earlier speaking all these things. Now you have become understood the greatness of Chaitanya. So in this way, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, this is all by your association, Gopinath Acharya. And in that way, that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya becomes a great Vaishnava. He says, I was so dull headed and I was just always reading these dry books on logic. And I had become so dry, but now by your influence, now I am able to understand all these great things in your association. So in this way, he glorifies Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he becomes very respectful of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and continues to feed him prasad and host him. And in that way, he's always serving Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes to the home of Sarvabhauma in early morning, and he offers him Mahaprasad. So without even brushing or anything, he immediately accepts the Mahaprasad. So then he says, and he offers obeisances. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you have become such a Vaishnava that you have given up all your rules and regulations and immediately taking and the prasad as soon as you saw. So he becomes very pleased that in this way that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's transformation is shown in this chapter. And also one time that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya comes and recites a verse to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he quotes instead of mukti, he uses the word bhakti pade. To that extent, he did not even wanted to take the word mukti, though he was an impersonalist before. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu corrects him. That's not necessary. You have to make mukti into bhakti in that verse. But still, he becomes very pleased with the mood of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. And in that way, he developed full faith in Bhakti Yoga. And he also specifically composes two special verses about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he writes in a palm leaf and then gives it to Mukunda. Mukunda actually copies it on the wall. And then Jagannath takes that two verses to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reads it and becomes very happy, but he actually tears the palm leaf. He did not wanted anyone to read that because it is the real essence of who's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is captured in those two verses by Sarvabhauma. But anyway, the devotees had already copied it on the wall, and so everybody actually memorized that. Vairagya Vidya Nija Sikshartam Eka Purusha. So the verse says that how let me take shelter of the Supreme Lord Shri Krishna, who has now come in this form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us all real knowledge, Vaidya, his devotional service and detachment. And in this way, he has descended into this world. He is an ocean of transcendental mercy. So therefore, let us surrender unto his lotus feet. Kripam budir yastam tamaham prapadye. So he is an ocean of mercy. And he also quotes another verse, composed another verse. Kala nashtam bhakti yogam nijamya pradushkaram Krishna Chaitanya nama. Avirbhutas tasya padadaram chitta bringai. Says, let my mind, let my consciousness become like a honeybee, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who has now appeared as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach this devotional service to everybody, which was lost over time. Kala nashtam. And it was lost in the flow of time. Kala nashtam bhakti yogam nijamyaha. So now he has come to spread that bhakti yoga. So now let me take shelter. Let me mind always take shelter. How a lotus, how a honeybee takes shelter of the lotus. Similarly, let my consciousness take shelter of the lotus feet of that Supreme Lord in the form of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He actually composes these two verses, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu likes it, but he actually tears the palm leaf in which it was written. But devotees had already copied it on the wall, literally. So everybody actually memorized this verse, and it's a very important verse glorifying Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in this way, he became he became so much influenced by the path of Bhakti Yoga, and he also started explaining all the scriptures in devotional perspective and started chanting Hare Krishna. And in that he became completely a Vaishnava. So this is the chapter which speaks about the liberation of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, chapter 6. And in the chapter 7, we see how now that he had some stay at the Jagannath Puri, he wants to, before he starts all his other pastimes, he wants to go around and preach Hare Krishna, preach the Sankirtan movement. And now that he has accepted sannyas, he wants to do that. He knows that the devotees will not accept. So he says, I'm going to actually search for my lost brother in South India. He knows already his brother has left his body, but still he wants to actually takes that as an excuse and goes to travel for 2 years all around South India, literally 4,000 miles, and spreading the holy name everywhere, starting a whole mass revolution of Sankirtan in the South India. And he didn't want anyone to come along with him. He wanted to go alone. And he says, in a loving way, he chastises Nityanand and Kunda and Mother and Jagadananda, all of them, that you all don't allow me to actually have any independence. So I don't want you two guys to come with me. So then Nityanand Prabhu convinces him to take one particular Brahmana called as the Kala Krishnadas, so that he can help him carry stuff and help him cook. And if he becomes ecstatically, emotionally absorbed, he can take care of him. So in that way, he accepts and takes Kala Krishnadas and leaves from Jagannath Puri through Alalnath. And he departs from there, even though all the devotees are so distressed that he is leaving them. He still goes on and he travels. And in his travels, he continues to chant the names of Krishna and greets everyone with names and with love. And in this way, his influence was extraordinary. Wherever he went, everybody became completely immersed in Krishna Bhakti. And whoever Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu encountered, they would immediately become infused with spiritual happiness, and they would just go, and everybody else who comes in touch with them, they will become devotees. So in that way, he was just started a whole wave of Nama Sankirtan in wherever he went. So he ignited the revolution of Sankirtan, and in entire villages and entire towns, they would become completely absorbed in chanting the holy names and chanting and dancing with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wherever he went. So in this way, the influence and the Vaishnavism and the Sankirtan was spreading everywhere. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's glories were spreading in all across South India, and the extent of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's tremendous devotional potency because was becoming more and more apparent to everyone wherever he was going. And some highlights that are being given in this chapter, where he meets a Brahmana called as a Kurma Brahmana, and he also meets a devotee called Vasudeva. So the Kurma Brahman episode is a very important episode, because in that episode actually we see very important verses that he instructs Kurma Brahman, because this Kurma Brahman was living in a place called as Kurma Kshetra, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu goes there and he takes food from this particular Kurma Brahman's house, and Kurma Brahman becomes so attached to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he stays there for a while, and he continues to speak Bhagavatam and chant and dance and every day. In this way, he becomes super attached. And when actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to actually leave Kurma Kshetra and wanted to continue his journey, he actually becomes so influenced. He says, no, I want to actually come with you. He says, how can I actually leave your lotus feet? You have, please come. I want to follow you. And in this way, when he expresses that, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, you don't need to actually come follow me. You actually stay at your home and chant the holy name of Krishna. This very famous verse he says, and also this very famous verse that Srila Prabhupada everywhere quoted, like Yara, that instruct everyone to follow the orders of the Supreme Lord. Wherever, whoever Yara deke, whoever you meet, tell them about the Krishna Upadesh, the instructions given in the Bhagavatam and the Bhagavad Gita. And in this way, you instruct them. And in this way, you become a spiritual master and try to liberate and deliver the people in this land. So in this way, he actually gives this important instruction to Kurma Brahman. And after that, he tells him, no, just stay at home. And if you constantly chant the holy names of Krishna, and in this way, if you follow these regulative principles, you will never lose my company. So he says that if I stay at home, I'll become disturbed by so many materialistic things. He says, no, if you continue to follow these principles while staying, you will advance and nothing will disturb you. In this way, you can do good to yourself and to others. You don't need to follow me. So in that way, he pacifies Kurma Brahmana and then takes leave from Kurma Brahman and then starts going towards further south. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu leaves this place, there was another Brahmana called Vasudev. He was already suffering from leprosy. His body was actually filled with living worms. And although he was suffering from leprosy, he was very enlightened. He was so compassionate that if a worm actually fell from his body, he will actually pick it up and keep it back, because he would think this body is being eaten by, this is the livelihood of this worm. If I stop this worm from eating my body, how will it live? So he was so detached from his own suffering. He was so compassionate to even a worm that is eating his own body. So when he actually heard about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's arrival in Kurmakshetra, he becomes very eager. He wants to see. So he somehow or other, he with difficulty, he arrives at Kurmakshetra and comes to know that the Lord has already left, because everybody is coming and speaking about the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how amazing he looks and how he is chanting and dancing and jumping, and everybody is becoming a devotee just by having his darshan, and everybody is like so impressed and they are all chanting Hare Krishna. So he receives this news in his own village and comes to see. But when he arrives at Kurmakshetra, he realizes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has already left. So he becomes so heartbroken. Unconscious. He falls to the ground unconscious and laments that I'm so unfortunate that even though the Supreme Lord was here, I could not take his darshan. So knowing his sincerity in the heart, the Lord actually comes back, returns to this place again just to meet Vasudeva Vipra, this leper. And in that way, he actually gives him his mercy and he cures him. And by the touch of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his leprosy becomes completely cured. So then actually Vasudeva becomes so disturbed. He says, now I'll become proud that I have received your grace and my body has become so effulgent. I would become so proud. How will I actually be protected? He says, no. Nirantara kaha tumi Krishna na Krishna naam. Like he says, if you continue to chant the holy names of Krishna and continue to give the upadesh to others, Krishna upadeshi kara jivera nistara chirate Krishna toma karibe angikar. If you continue to chant and continue to spread this message of Krishna to others, in that way you will receive the mercy of Krishna. You will never become proud. Don't worry, Krishna will protect you. So in that way, he gives both Kurma Brahman and Vasudev Vipra his mercy and continues to travel further to south. And in that way, the 8th chapter is just a short glimpse. Sorry, the 7th chapter is a short glimpse of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu traveling towards South India and also meeting Kurma Brahman and Vasudeva Vipra. And in chapter 8, we will see how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, very important chapter, very long but very detailed chapter. I'm not sure how much detail we can cover. That Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually speaks to Ramananda. He meets and they have a huge conversation, a very important conversation. Sometimes I see a whole lecture series happens on in this one chapter. It's called as Ramananda Samvad. So many devotees give a whole series of talks just in this one chapter. It's some 300 some verses in this chapter actually. So if I have to in short explain that, it is like basically Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu travels further south and then goes to this place called as on the banks of the Godavari. He meets Ramananda Rai. So this place is, what is this place called as? Currently it's called as Kovur. It's called as Rajmandri in Andhra Pradesh. So at that place here, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is meeting Ramananda Rai, because when he was leaving Jagannath Puri, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya tells, you have to, when you go to in your tour to South India, you should meet this great devotee Ramananda Rai in Kovur. So that's why he goes and meets him in his journey. Actually, it is said that Ramananda Rai is actually Vishaka Devi in Braj Leela. So because of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya insisting that the Lord meets Ramananda Rai on his travels, he actually sees, actually Ramananda Rai is the governor. So he was very influential and powerful, though he is also a great devotee. But externally, one is a sannyasi, the other one is a governor, a politician. So he was not supposed to meet him. However, they meet in privacy. So first of all, when he sees Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he becomes so impressed, like, who's this effulgent sannyasi? So he steps down and then he goes forward and meets him, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu embraces him. And then they introduce themselves, and he realizes, oh, here is Ramananda Rai, whom Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya actually wanted me to meet. And then he sees the ecstatic symptoms in the body of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and realizes how great it is, how great he is. So they both are embracing each other, but the other people along with Ramananda Rai who came, they all get bewildered. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, your entourage is getting bewildered, so let's meet separately, privately. So they later meet separately without the presence of his officers and assistants and everyone. Then they engage in a very important conversation. It's a very high level theological conversation where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requests Ramananda Rai to speak about the conclusions of the scriptures. Ramananda Rai says Varnashram is the perfection or the conclusion of the scripture, following Varnashram perfectly, Varnashram duties. However, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yes, that is true, but still that is external, speak more. Then he speaks about Nishkama Karma, how it's not just performing one's duties, one should be detached from the fruits of one's duties. That is the perfection. He says this is also right, but this is still external, speak more. He says it's not enough just to renounce one's fruits. Eventually, one should also accept renunciation and completely surrender oneself to the Supreme Lord. He says this is also right, but this is still external, speak more. He says then one should dedicate oneself to Jnana Bhakti. One should just give up. One should become more and more stable in the knowledge of the Supreme Lord and everything. He says this is also okay, but speak more. Then he speaks more about pure devotional service. In that also, he continues to ask him questions. Eventually, he speaks about Shuddha Bhakti and also specifically about the moods of Vrindavan. He speaks about Dasya, then he speaks about Sakya, which is the friendship, then he speaks about Vatsalya, then he speaks about Madhurya. At that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, yes, now you have spoken something which is very nice. So speak still more. So then he speaks about the Madhurya Rasa very elaborately. And then in this way, they both discuss the whole philosophy of Gaudiya Vaishnavism is built up in this conversation in this chapter between verses, in these verses that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai are discussing. It is like a nectar flowing from Ramananda's mouth, that Sri Chaitanya Ramananda Rai's mouth, that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was relishing. They spoke for consecutively 10 nights. Every day they would meet and continue to discuss about the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. And in this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu really enjoyed the association of Ramananda Rai. And he actually asked Ramananda Rai, please relocate to Jagannath Puri. When I go complete my South India tour, I'll get back to Jagannath Puri. You also wind up your duties as a governor and come to Jagannath Puri, where we could actually continue to discuss the topics of Krishna. I would have your association. Please come. So, and then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also gives him this famous darshan where Mahaprabhu is standing, and one side there is Krishna, one side there is Radha, and Ramananda Rai is sitting on the ground. We have that painting even in Bhakti Center temple room also. So that particular room, that particular darshan is shown by Mahaprabhu to Ramananda Rai, his combined form of Radha and Krishna. So in that way, this particular chapter comes to a conclusion that Chaitanya takes farewell from Ramananda Rai, and he continues to go to other places. He visits many other holy places in South India, because South India is filled with so many holy places, but still it's also filled with a lot of impersonalist and ritualistic brahmanas and scholars. They were all not so much interested in bhakti, but by the influence of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all these different individuals, either they were ritualistic or they were just scholars or they were impersonalists, all of their hearts started transforming by the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and discussing philosophy with him and hearing him chant and dance, everything. So in that way, they all became Vaishnavas, devotees of Krishna. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also met people from various disciplic successions and guided them to a proper understanding of God. And he also interacted with many Buddhists, Jains, and so many other people, and established the Vaishnava philosophy. and they all actually adapted the principles of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and happily started chanting and dancing. So in this way, through logic, argument, and through his personal presence, he transformed the hearts of so many people and touched and brought this knowledge of Vaishnavism all wherever he went. And on his travels, he paid his obeisances at various temples that he came across. So many temples, be it Lord Shiva's temples or Vishnu's temples, so many temples he comes across and he visits. And there is a whole map that where and all Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited, and all those temples, they are very important. And also he recovers two important books, Brahma Samhita and Krishna Karnamrita, from one of these temples in his travel. During all of these things, despite all these spiritually inspiring events, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's servant also, Kala Krishnadas, he falls victim to some romantic allurements from some women in the Kerala, the Nambudiris. And also he was personally rescued by the Supreme Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he saves him and then brings him out of that problem. And in his travel, he comes to Srirangam, where he meets an illiterate Brahmana, that he is sitting and reading the Bhagavad Gita upside down. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks, "Why are you crying and why are you holding the book upside down?" He says, I'm illiterate, but my guru asked me to read, so I'm trying to read." But he asked, "Why are you crying?" He says, "Just imagining that how the Supreme Lord Krishna, he took the role of a humble charioteer to his devotee. So how loving is my Lord." He said, "You have understood the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, even though you're an illiterate." And then he also stayed at the place of Venkata Bhatta, who is the father of Gopal Bhatta Goswami in Srirangam. And being a Vaishnava in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, Venkata Bhatta worshipped the deities of Lakshmi and Narayan. So after some friendly talks with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they keep speaking and they began discussing serious philosophical questions. And Venkata Bhatta tries to answer them. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asks them, "Why is Lakshmi Devi trying to join the Rasa dance?" In this way, they go back and forth, and this ignites an in-depth discussion on the transcendental mellows, contrasting the personality of Krishna and Vishnu. So Venkata Bhatta eventually becomes more and more convinced that how Krishna exhibits a variety of qualities and relationships that is not found in any other manifestation of Vishnu. And in that way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu proves how the Supreme Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And in this way, he also gives this mercy to Gopal Bhatta Goswami, because he gets the association of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And later, after Venkata Bhatta and his mother all passes away, Gopal Bhatta Goswami will come and join Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement in Vrindavan. And after all his travels in Sri Rangam and every other place, so then he returns to Jagannath Puri. In the same way how he came, he goes back to Vidyanagar, meets Ramananda Rai, and spends some time. And from Vidyanagar, he comes back to Alalnath and sends Kalakrishna Das to go and inform the devotees in Jagannath Puri to come and meet him. And after 2 years of continuous traveling, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returns to Jagannath Puri for the next phase of his preaching. And all the devotees, they are so happy. They are shedding tears, and they are so happy to see Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu again. So it was as though they have received their life again. So in this way, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu concludes his tour to Jagannath Puri and gets back to Jagannath Puri. And in Jagannath Puri, what is happening? As soon as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left to South India, Prataprudra asks, Sarvabhauma, I'm hearing that there is a sannyasi staying with you. So who is he? And do you want to introduce him to me? And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya says, he's not just any sannyasi, he's the Supreme Lord himself. But the problem is he won't meet you because you're a king. But I'll try. Now currently he is in South India. Once he comes back, we will try to arrange a meeting for you with him. So in that way he actually tries. And then he says, okay, at the same time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes back, he wants a home to stay. So far he was staying at my place before going to South India, but now when he comes back, we want him to have a place of his own. And what do you think is the best place? So then Prataprudra Maharaj says, Kashishwar's home is secluded, but it is also very close to Jagannath temple. So I think that is the best place that we offer Kashishwar's place. And because Kala Krishnadas had this whole fiasco, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, I don't want him to be my servant anymore. But the devotees take pity on him and says, okay, say that, okay, Kala Krishnadas, go to Navadvip and tell all the devotees that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come back. so that they all can come and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So they engage him in service. So he goes to Jagannath Puri and informs the devotees there, and they all also get planned. They also start getting ready to come and meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. So in this way, all the devotees reunite with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prataprudra also becomes very interested about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, becomes convinced that he is the Supreme Lord, because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was his guru. And he knows who was Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, such a strong, devout, impersonalist. Now he sees the transformation in Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. So he develops full faith. If Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is fully transformed, and despite being a great scholar, he has full conviction that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the Supreme Lord. So he says, I accept it. Blindly, I accept whatever, if you say so. So in that way, he becomes very touched and very eager to meet Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and facilitates so many services. And now that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is back in Jagannath Puri, so many devotees like Paramananda Puri, Brahmananda Puri, Swarup Damodar Goswami, Govinda, eventually even Ramanandra, they all come and join Jagannath, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Jagannath Puri. Because Govinda was the personal servant of Ishwar Puri, a god brother of Lord Chaitanya. But when he was leaving his body, Ishwar Puri instructs Govinda, now that you have served me so nicely, now go and continue your service in to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he was instructed to become the personal servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by his spiritual master. So Govinda comes, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you are my god brother, I cannot make you my servant. But he says, no, this is the personal instruction of our spiritual master. So he reluctantly accepts this service from his own god brother, and Govinda becomes a shining emblem of selfless and dedicated service to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Swarup Damodar Goswami, who is non-different from Sita Devi, he was known as Purushottamacharya. So he also had taken sannyas, hearing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had taken sannyas. Now that knowing that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is back in Jagannath Puri, Swarup Damodar Goswami also comes and becomes the personal secretary of Sri Chaitanya, assisting the Lord in his devotional pastimes. So in this way, that finally the Lord took sannyas, he completed his South India Yatra, and he is finally back in Jagannath Puri. So now that he is in Jagannath Puri, all the devotees start coming to Jagannath Puri, because he was traveling, they did not come. Now that he is back, everybody is coming. That's why he did his travel first, because if he let all the devotees come and meet him, they will not let him go, and he will also not be able to go, leaving them behind. That's why he wanted to do that pastime of spreading Harinam before all the devotees. He gets obliged by the presence of the devotees. So he finished all of that, and he's back in Jagannath Puri. Now all the devotees are coming, and like the various rivers meet in ocean, so similarly all the devotees are coming towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in the next session, we will see how Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu engages in the various pastimes or in Jagannath Puri between the chapters 11 and 15, and also further after that, that how he travels to Vrindavan, and then how he teaches Rupa and Sanatan. I don't know how much we'll be able to cover tomorrow. Hopefully another 10 chapters, or at least complete Madhya Leela if possible. So let's try what can we cover tomorrow. From chapter 11 we will start tomorrow. So thank you all, and I know it is 4. So if there is any questions, anything you want to ask or share, it's a good time. And I think it's already 2 hours. Yes, Mother Gail. Hare Krishna.
I don't want to scare you, but I do have a million things, so you can cut me off when it gets too much.
Yeah.
One thing was about Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's pastime. Right? He was a Mayavadi, so his conception was that absolute truth has no
Is that form? It's just that Brahman, and I am that Brahman.
Yeah. And so when he sees this Sadbhuj form, how come he is immediately able to make sense of it and say, oh, this is God? He's coming from the conception that God has no form. So when he sees this Sadbhuj form, he should think, what is this I'm seeing?
He is a Vedic scholar, so he does understand the other parts that are existing, but he got covered by the commentary of Advaita, Adi Shankaracharya. It's not that he did not know anything about anything. He did have idea. It got covered because of his constant reveling in the Jnana Yoga, the scriptures and the specific processes. Even though he knew all of those things to some extent, it was covered for him because he had a wrong interpretation of Vedanta. Now he had a correct interpretation of Vedanta, and Lord Chaitanya first showed him the four-armed form, then Krishna's form, then the other forms. He could actually now have that. And also the Lord's mercy is he has received it finally through his service, because he served the Lord from the beginning, from the time he came to Jagannath Puri. He's been serving the Lord, always touching his feet and serving him. So he did service to the Lord in a very humble mood and with real eager, like a real humble heart. So that also transformed his heart. Service that he did and his association with other devotees, all of that combined together, now it was gradually chipping away. And these darshans, we are not having it personally, so we are not able to imagine Krishna personally showing his form and how much of a transformation it can actually bring about.
Yeah, I was thinking actually that maybe it was having heard from Lord Chaitanya was like purifying his consciousness.
Yes. Otherwise, like so many people even see Krishna directly there. It's not like even Lord Chaitanya, he was seeing Lord Chaitanya directly before it, but gradually it was chipping away. His services, his association, his hearing from Chaitanya. Gradually, when he finally showed that darshan, it was like sealing the case.
Yeah, okay. So he was getting it from all sides.
Yes.
Yeah. And that Shadbhuj form, was it exactly the same form that Ramananda Roy saw?
Actually, Nityananda Prabhu, no, Ramananda Rai did not see Shadbhuja form. He saw the form how Lord Chaitanya is a combination of Lord Krishna and Srimati Radharani.
Oh, okay.
He sees the different form. He does not see Shadbhuja.
Okay. Yeah, I got those two confused.
Yes. And also last week we saw that how Nityananda Prabhu sees that Shadbhuj form, six-armed form. Last week I mentioned it in the flow of discussing. But there is a serious, interesting difference. The description of what Nityananda Prabhu saw was different from what Shadbhuja form that Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya sees. Because he had not taken sannyas at that time, he does not show the sannyas form in his Shadbhuja Gauranga form to Nityananda Prabhu. He shows him the four-handed Vishnu form along with Krishna form, something like that.
Oh, okay.
There was some difference in the what he is holding in his hands. Club, disc, and bow and arrow. He does not have the sannyas form in that is a slight difference. His Grace Satyaraj, he wrote a whole article on the six-armed form of Lord Chaitanya. I remember reading in that also. So you can Google, it's pretty much there. I have seen that Prabhuji wrote a 6 Shadbhuj special article on Shadbhuja. He has given some more details.
So the six arms that was shown to Lord Nityananda was the four-armed Vishnu plus Krishna. Huh?
Krishna, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Also, moving away to the Advaitacharya pastimes in Shantipur, at what point was it that Lord Chaitanya chastised Shachimata for having offended Vedacharya?
That was when he came back after initiation. That is Adi Lila. That was in Navadvip. When he was doing pastimes at the homes of Srivas Thakur and all of that. So that is immediately after his initiation, he does that pastime. It is elaborately described in Chaitanya Bhagavat, but it is not mentioned in Chaitanya Charitamrita. But not at this time. It was even before he took sannyas.
Oh, it was before sannyas. Okay, so it was way before Shantipur.
Yes, way before taking sannyas. Immediately after his initiation. When he comes back, everybody is receiving the mercy, but she is not. So that's when he says, okay, you have offended because your son has taken sannyas and you thought I will also, like, yeah, he said his name is Advaita, but he's Dvaita here.
Yeah. Okay. With the Shakshi Gopal pastime, I was just wondering, my mental speculation, because the younger Brahmana, at first he was like trying to discourage the elder Brahmana from trying to give his daughter to him, but then he ended up really holding the elder Brahmana to his promise very much. So I'm wondering, since he didn't seem to be so interested in having that daughter in the first place, the younger Brahmana, I'm wondering if he was insisting that the elder Brahmana keep his promise more to protect the elder Brahmana, not so much because he wanted girl for himself.
Yes, absolutely. That was his mode.
Maybe I heard that and forgot. I don't know.
Yeah, that was his mode. He was more concerned that we promised before the deity, so I want the vow to be kept.
Yeah, for the elder Brahmana's sake only.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then Madhavendra Puri, he went back to Ram, right?
Yes,
Why did he need to go back?
because it was on his way back. He came through that way, so he was going back through that way.
Okay. Yeah, I think I just have one more thing or so. Yeah. Oh, going back to the Shakshi Gopal pastime, follow the purpose of, was it a princess who she wanted to put an earring in that?
Yes, the queen actually.
Or okay, queen, she wanted to put the earring, but there was no hole in the nose.
She was thinking, oh, there may not be a hole, so how will I be able to put the... So she did not take it very seriously. But in the dream, Gopal came and said, actually, I have a hole. You can offer the pearl.
Like, what was the significance of that pastime?
Basically, just to say that how there was active reciprocation from the deity.
Yeah, I think, is that it? Yeah, I think the only other thing was, I don't know if you'll remember this now, but you mentioned this, and you even you recited the lyrics of this song that Lord Chaitanya sung. It was in the earlier part of the lecture today.
Okay.
And you said it was a really famous...
It is the sannyas mantra, actually.
Oh. Because I was wondering I don't know, I was wondering what the translation was.
Okay. So that verse, that is the actual, what do you call, sannyas mantra, that even they give that. So you want to know the verse number?
No, I was just wondering what the meaning.
The meaning? Okay.
The translation or something.
The meaning is basically, now that I have taken shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, now I have come to understand that bhakti is the most important thing. Now I'll take shelter of Mukunda and cross over this material ocean.
Okay, and the context for this was...
He just had taken, what do you call, he has just taken sannyas. So he was in that mood. Like, now I have given up everything. Now I am taking an exclusive shelter of Vishnu. So let me take it very seriously and I'll cross over this material ocean. That kind of a mood. Aham tarishyami durantaparam tamo mukunda angri nishevayaiva.
So sannyasis, is when they get sannyas,
This is the mantra.
they recite
Yeah.
at their ceremony, no?
Yes.
Okay.
So it is Bhagavatam 11.23.57.
Okay, thank you so much.
I'll see you all, everyone, tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Thank you for taking out your time.
Thank you so
Srila
much.
Prabhupada ki jai,
Krishna.
Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai, Shri Chaitanya
Hare Krishna.
Charitamrita.